All right, somebody is trying to build up. Worst case scenario, that person actually manages to go from prone up into a complete standing position, and everything is just off the table for techniques. We need to understand that we have dominant position, and we need to be able to shut this person down and take them from an athletic position into an unathletic position. Kevin, if you can turn to the side, this way, and turtle. Kevin's goals here are to get his head and shoulders over top of his hips. If he can, whether it's from kneeling or from more of a 4-point on his feet, but for him to get standing, he needs to go here and then stand up. That would be worst case scenario. I need to create force or generate force and have it up higher up on his back here. We don't have to worry about positional asphyxia right now because I have space underneath his chest here. If you just lift that arm, we could still have somebody fold up, so you still want to be careful and you still want to talk to people, make sure that they're breathing at all times, but we can't ignore the fact that this person is going to mobilize. By me taking my chest and connecting it to Kevin's back like this, up by his shoulder blades, even if I don't use my arms, if Kevin tries to keep standing up from here, it's more weight for him to have to push. Now, if you weigh 100 pounds and this person's 250 pounds, they're probably still going to be able to just get up, but it's going to take them time. Now, what I want to do is I want to wrap my arms around Kevin's body, and I want to hold him with a body lock. And so my arms come underneath both his arms, and just holding together here at the ribs. What I want is I want this rotational control so that I am able to pull Kevin's hips off to the side and break him back down. And also in the event if he manages to stand back up, I'm still able to keep the rear body lock that we will be going into very shortly. My goal here is to take Kevin off to the side. Whether he's up on his hands or his elbows, usually he's got quite a effective profile in this direction that if I tried to shove Kevin's weight forward, nothing's going to happen. His legs will be relatively behind him, whether he's live toes or dead toes, or he's up on his feet or he's just on his shins trying to pull him straight back, nothing happens. But usually, we have a smaller profile to the left and right that will allow us to make somebody collapse to their hip. And that's our goal. If we can take somebody and drop them to their hip, like this, we're going to be much more effective at breaking them down. So, with this body lock, I'm connecting my hands. If you just kneel right up right now, Kevin. My arms coming underneath and connecting like this. Whatever grip you kind of get in the moment, just don't interlock your fingers. It's going to be very effective at holding Kevin or the client that you're working with. Here, hand over top is going to be like the most basic. No thumb, just here, hold on. Can you hug this person tight? Now, Kevin is in base. I'm going to get up onto my feet to maximize the force that I'm generating into Kevin's upper body here. So now with this, if Kevin tries to stand up, I should be able to start driving a lot of weight that when he tries to take his hands away from the mat, it's going to collapse. This is also really important for weapon retention. If I put enough weight that all of a sudden Kevin's arms have to now become load-bearing frames, well, as soon as he tries to take those arms away, he falls to his face. And now I win that battle in the sense of being able to get him back down to a prone position, but I'm also making sure that he can't reach and try and grab something without collapsing. I'm going to turn my shoulder and load a lot of weight into his near side arm to me, so that then I'm going to be able to rotate and pull his hips around his arm and make him collapse like this. Holding on, I'm up in the base. I'm going to start dropping my left shoulder into his left shoulder. I'm going to keep his hips following mine as best as I can. So I'm going to close my right elbow on the far side. I'm going to walk my hips away from him to drop him down like this. And I start flattening him out. Quite often, you're going to find that you're able to start catching that motorcycle grip. Turn onto your stomach. Hands behind your back to take that control. As he's built up here, I'm moving myself in, chest to back connection. My chin is coming over top of his shoulder here. My other shoulder is behind behind left shoulder. I start getting up onto my feet. And now watch as I walk my hips away. Right now I'm kind of hip to hip. I'm going to start walking my hips away and trying to make his hips follow mine. To drop him here. We can see Kevin drops like this, and with his body lock, that motorcycle grip is right here. But a lot of people are also going to be in position here trying to stop themselves from flattening out. We have the ability to get that motorcycle grip as well. So whether you want to move into taking the far arm and starting to bring it behind the back, or I would prefer that near side arm. So we got this body lock, we move into motorcycle control. You can even double up on that wrist, and we're going to look to start flattening the client out. So we can do that for a moment by grabbing this arm, just to take the arms away now. Roll onto your stomach. Here. Now I can get myself off onto the side. I can start checking that shoulder to make sure that he can't turn into me. And because I got this motorcycle grip now, I'm able to start working into that forearm lever. Bring the hands behind the back, giving my partner room. It depends on if you're by yourself or if you have partners. If you have somebody that has resisted this much, I would not try and handcuff them if you're by yourself, unless you had no option. If we have this rotational control with this body lock, I would honestly keep it or take that motorcycle grip and drop the person down. I would stay here. I would keep my chest connected. I'm here in a kneeling position like this. I got both arms controlled, or even if it's still just the body lock. And Kevin can try and build up from here. And as he does that, I pull him back down. He tries to build back up. I pull him back down. And I will hang out here all day until my partners come in for backup. And if you're by yourself and you're in that situation where now you have to read the environment and you understand that you have backup way too far away, that becomes your judgment call on maybe I do actually have to put this person all the way down into a prone position and work to get those arms behind the back. But anytime you start giving up the control that you have with that direct rotational control, where we're just hugging the person and attaching our body to their body, and we have to create that space to pull the arms out, you risk losing everything. It's very unlikely for me to lose this position like this and have Kevin turn into face me. Even once we start breaking him down, it's very unlikely now that if Kevin tries to turn into me, that he can. But as soon as I start trying to take just the arm and do this, now there's much more space that can get created, and then Kevin turns away, and I could lose stuff. I could lose a lot of different range battles if I'm not super good at this stuff. And this is where constant practice is important, but also making sure that you have partners there to be able to save your ass for when this stuff goes sideways. And you're gonna have to make that call and just hold on to the person and know that you're in a dominant position with a dominant angle. Stay there. Here, turtles. Wrapping over just here, whether it's at the hips or a little bit higher up the body. It's not the end of the world, but we want to pull the hips with us. So I like about midpoint or a bit closer to the hips. I start being able to put weight on. Have your partner, when you're practicing this, see if they can build themselves up. So I start leaning, and I'm dropping the shoulder up by his head here. And now Kevin, build up. See how he just starts to fall? Even if I fall with him, as long as I have my chest to his back and I'm attached like a backpack, he's not going to turn into me. So here. Now as Kevin's trying to build it up, I'm closing this elbow, and I'm going to walk my hips away while driving my shoulder down. Like this. Now, because of how he's positioned, we can tell that I can go right into a motorcycle grip from this side. I just want to make sure that I get more flattened out, so I could take this arm away. Roll onto your stomach. Onto your stomach. I take that arm out, or we can see that arm's positioned like this. Maybe I pull this arm out, and I gift wrap. And now by having both wrists, I have the ability to stop Kevin from rotating either direction. Rotate to your left or right. Little straight jacket position here, where I'm able to actually have quite a lot of space created between me and the client and be able to work from here as a partner can come in and start helping out. So if that arm is positioned like this, very easy for us to take it, get the grip behind the back. That's one of the harder ones to do unless somebody is just choosing to comply at that point. Or get that grip, bring it behind the back, and we start looking to roll the person over. You start to end up in a lot of these great positions where you can start to find where you can get those motorcycle grips to get the leverage or to be able to wrap people up, to buy time. It's a lot of great stuff that the more comfortable you get with grappling and being able to hold this side control position, you're gonna be very effective.